6 months later that I had a more tender and real relationship with God because I trusted God through it all. And that's what true, genuine Christianity does, is that we trust in God on the mountaintop, and we trust in God in the valley. It doesn't matter what life throws us. We're going to believe in God. And if that means that we have to sorrow sometimes, then we'll sorrow. If that means that we have to suffer sometimes, then we'll suffer.
Yes, sir.
Because we are genuine Christians, and genuine Christians have bruise marks of sorrow. They have bruise marks of suffering. They have also bruise marks of strickening. Again, we're talking about true Christianity. This is not a make me feel good message.
All right.
But this is a true message for those who find that they notice that when they've given their life to God, it seems like all hell has broken loose in your life.
Well,
those are the bruise marks that you have to pay for. As I've said before, that new levels calls for new devils. And you have to learn to live on those new levels, and you have to get stronger, because the more glory that you can give God, many times the more sorrow and suffering you have to experience, like Job, because Job not only sorrowed and suffered, but he was stricken. And Jesus in this text was stricken. It says, surely he took up our infirmities and carried our sorrows. Yes, he considered him stricken by God. And many didn't know until we went through that spiritual warfare series that they were being stricken by God. Say, preacher, what does that mean? That means that God has begun to boast on you in the heavens. Like Job, he boasted on you and said, have you considered my servant? There's none like him or her. Oh, and the devil said, well, you have this hedge of protection around him. I can't touch him. But if you let me touch him, they're going to curse you. God allowed you and Job to be stricken. And Job was stricken. But Job had everything. When he was a rich man, he trusted God. When he had all the children that he wanted, he trusted God. And when he lost everything, he trusted God. There are many people in our culture, in our society, maybe even you, who are losing some stuff. And God has stricken you, and God believes that you can make it through such a time as this. God knows that you are trusting him for your retirement as opposed to a 401k. And he said, have you considered my servant? Oh, you can do this, but you can't do that. You can do this, but you can't do that. And he will, because he has the bruise marks of faith. He's going to be able to say, or she's going to be able to say, hallelujah, anyhow.
All right, all right.
Yeah. That's true Christianity, people. It's true Christianity. John Piper, that pastor of Bethlehem Baptist Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota, says this is God's universal purpose for all Christian suffering. More contentment in God and less satisfaction in the world. Ooh, that's deep, isn't it? More contentment with God, because sometimes we set our lives up as if we're going to be here forever. Yeah. Oh, we're not going to be here forever. We're only just passing through.
Right.
We're only just passing through. I use this illustration many times about how I sat and I saw Ross C. Johnson baptizing people. And they looked at the film, and they kept looking at the film, and they said, that person is no longer alive, and that person is no longer alive, and that person is no longer alive. And the only people in the tape that was still alive was the children who were being baptized. We have to realize that we are just passing through.
Yes, sir.
We're just passing through, and we have to live that way. Because many times we set ourselves up and we live as if we're going to live in this world forever. And many of you know and have experienced loved ones who have passed away. Job had gotten and realized that I'm going to believe God whether I have stuff or not.
All right.
Yet, even though he slays me, but yet still I'm going to trust him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to learn, like Paul says, he learned to be content with being blessed of much stuff and not having anything at all. God is calling in our culture, in our time, to which we are losing jobs more than any other time. Losing the investments that we thought that we had. People are losing millions of dollars. I think it's just blessed to have had millions of dollars to lose. Hello? We are just passing through, and we must learn to live for eternity as opposed to living for the now. And when you learn to trust God in your tribulations and your trials, you're living for eternity. You're giving God glory. Not only must we have, true Christians must have the bruise marks of sorrows, the bruise mark of suffering, the bruise marks of strickening, where God has boasted upon you. But we have these because we have the bruise marks of salvation. And a lot of times this text is taken out of context, and we're going to learn what it really means tonight. It says, but he was